We have a huge trade to announce between the Buffalo Sabres and the St. Louis Blues involving Ryan O'Reilly. We'll discuss all the details and I'll give you my thoughts coming up next. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. If you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. We'll review and discuss all 31 NHL teams. So if you're a huge hockey fan, consider subscribing and clicking the bell so you don't miss anything. So the Ryan O'Reilly sweepstakes have finally come to an end here. He has been moved in a fairly huge trade here with the Blues and the Buffalo Sabres. Obviously, the St. Louis Blues get their center that they've been looking for, which is huge for them, and they certainly gave up a fairly big haul to the Buffalo Sabres in return. So going to the Buffalo Sabres, they get 2 draft picks. They get the 2019 first-round pick of the Blues and a 2021 second-round pick. They also get veteran forwards Patrick Berglund, Vladimir Saboka, and youngster Tage Thompson. So I think that's an excellent haul for the Buffalo Sabres. I mean, they get 3 NHL players and 2 draft picks, including a first rounder, which could very well become an NHL player down the road. Obviously, the St. Louis Blues here are kind of betting on the fact that they have a rebound season and finish higher in the standings. So that first round pick is going to be a little bit lower into the first round. It won't be a high pick here. Now, back at the trade deadline when the Sabres were trading Evander Kane, they had mentioned they wanted 4 or 5 pieces at that point, and they really came up short on that Evander Kane trade. So I knew they were going to hang on to O'Reilly and really make sure they got the return that they were looking for. Due to O'Reilly not having an expiring contract, they were able to take their time and wait this out and make sure they get the right deal. Now, it's been speculated that the Blues have been looking at O'Reilly for some time after the trade was actually consummated and finalized here. They did say that they've been talking for quite some time here, off and on, over the last number of weeks to try to work this trade out. So this was, even though the Blues gave up a lot here, I like this trade and I like it for both sides. I really think this is a type of trade that both teams can benefit from here. I mean, the St. Louis Blues get that top center that they're looking for. I mean, him and Schenn will be 1-2. O'Reilly likely being the number 2 guy there. They signed Tyler Bozak in free agency. He'll slot in as number 3. So that really gives the St. Louis Blues some excellent depth at center between Schenn, O'Reilly, and Bozak. So I really like their strength down the middle, and really strength down the middle is super important nowadays to getting yourselves into being a playoff contender and even a Stanley Cup contender. So obviously that's huge for the Blues. They get to dump a couple of veteran contracts that they've been wanting to do for some time. Berglund and Saboka are both guys that the Blues have been looking to move for well over a year now, I would say. I mean, any kind of a trade that's been speculated involving St. Louis, those are the names that keep coming up that the Blues were looking to move. I've had a lot of questions down in the comment section here on other videos talking about trades and free agency, asking if O'Reilly was going to be traded for Colton Parayko. Obviously, Parayko was a name I knew St. Louis did not want to move. I did feel there was a chance they could end up including him if they felt like the deal was necessary enough, but I really knew from the Blues perspective at least that they would really prefer not to include a defenseman. They do have a pretty solid defense core, and they really didn't want to have to break that up to add a center. I figured if anything that they might end up bending on, it would be with the prospects. Now, Tage Thompson, take nothing away from him, but they were able to keep their more prized prospects like Robert Thomas, Jordan Kyrou, Costin, etc. So the Blues really still have a pretty solid prospect pool in the cupboard here, and at the same time they get some veteran contracts off the books. So from a salary cap perspective, the Blues did well here. Even though adding O'Reilly's salary, they're not really any further ahead on the cap. So they get to move out enough salary to kind of offset bringing in his bigger contract. Now, from the Buffalo perspective, I like the fact that they were able to move O'Reilly. Obviously, they have a lot of other centers coming in that they hopefully can take over the role here. I mean, they have guys like Eichel, obviously Casey Middlestat. They're hoping that he's the real deal and will prove to be a solid, number 2, number 3 center here in the league. You got Reinhart, who can play center and wing. So they certainly have enough depth at center that they were able to kind of take this chance and kind of hand the reins over to a lot of their top younger offensive talents. At the same time, though, they get to add some nice veteran leadership in that can probably likely be a third line guy. I mean, Berglund can play center as well, so he can be that number 3 center. So Berglund can come in and be that number 3 line center for the Sabres. They can put Saboka likely on his line. They've played a fair bit together in St. Louis in the past, so that makes it an easy transition for them. They can throw in youngster Tage Thompson, who can hopefully get a chance to play maybe a bigger role with some of their other more offensive younger players as well. So I like this deal from Buffalo's perspective. They get a couple extra picks, first and second second rounders for the future to keep stocking the cupboard full. And then I like it from the Blues perspective as well, as they got their top guy to kind of take them up a level, and without really digging into that decor or into their prospect pool a whole lot outside of Tage Thompson. So I think this is a type of trade right now we can probably say St. Louis wins because they got the best player in the trade. That's generally the rule of thumb we go by. But I do like this trade from the Sabres perspective as well. They get an excellent haul of players and picks in return. So I think long term here we can probably say this deal will benefit both clubs and should be a fairly even trade. So one of the bigger trades we've seen so far this offseason, and it's certainly a trade that I think is an excellent deal for both sides. So let me know your comments down below. What do you think of this trade? Do you think the Blues won because they got the best player? Or at the same time here, can we say the Sabres won because they got such a big haul? Or is this really a fairly even trade? That's kind of where I'm at right now. I'd like to hear your thoughts down below in the comment section. Now, if you're new to the channel here, I hope you consider subscribing. We cover all 31 NHL teams, and there is plenty of content here for all hockey fans to enjoy. So if you're new, hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, make sure you hit that like button as well. I'd appreciate it if you did. As always, thank you very much for watching, everybody. We will catch you next time.